Hello, everybody. Welcome to our podcast, our humble little podcast. And today we're looking at a NASCAR movie, Stroker Ace from 1983, starring Burt Reynolds.
I think not only are we shifting to a theme about automobile racing, is this the first movie we've talked about involving Burt Reynolds in any capacity?
I believe so. And if we keep the schedule we were looking at, it will not be the last time that we talk about Burt.
Well, it's a distinct flavor, Burt Reynolds, no doubt about it.
No, absolutely. And in a lot of ways, this movie kind of killed his career, excuse me.
Oh.
Yeah, he declined the role of an astronaut, Garrett Breedlove, in terms of endearment. Jack Nicholson got that role, and he went on to win an Academy Award for Best Actor.
I had no idea that involved an astronaut, terms of endearment. Huh.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. I couldn't tell you anything about it. But I've watched this movie multiple times, and it got 5 Golden Raspberry nominations. Worst Picture, Worst Director, Worst Actress, Worst New Star, which was the same actress, and one for Nabors, Jim Nabors. He won for Worst Supporting Actor.
Well, I know it's a big bomb, and I know it's sort of infamous in Burt Reynolds' own career filmography, but I have seen way, way worse movies based on race cars, too. The director was his Smokey and the Bandit partner in crime, right? The same guy who did that, and I guess his former stunt double? Am I right?
Yeah, I believe that's right. And I think that's why he went with this movie. He said he felt I owed Hal more than I owed Jim. I guess Jim was whoever was behind the Terms of Endearment film.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I think it's a great movie. I love it. It's awesome. It's NASCAR. I think NASCAR back in the day probably wasn't popular enough to support its own little Talladega Nights style feature. I think that's probably part of the problem. I would imagine this would be a very regional ticket, so to speak. And I don't know if the Southeast could support a movie back then. Maybe they could, maybe they couldn't. I don't know.
Well, I've read a little bit that when people critique this movie, it's because it's the third time, maybe the fourth time they've seen it, of Burt Reynolds doing stereotypical Burt Reynolds driving a car fast. There's Smokey and the Bandit 1, there's Cannonball Run, there might have been Smokey and the Bandit 2. I don't remember which came first. This movie was July 1983, wasn't it, when it hit theaters?
Yes. Now, I don't know. I will say July 1st, 1983 is not a good time to release your movie if you want diehard NASCAR fans to go to it.
They're at the Firecracker 400, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think by 1983, they are broadcasting these things on TV, so they're not going to be going out that weekend.
And I guess 1 year later, NASCAR got its moment in the Florida sun on July 4th. Was that when Richard Petty won his 200th race in the Firecracker 400 at Daytona, and Ronald Reagan landed Air Force One so he could go and meet the NASCAR drivers, and they all sat around and ate Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I think that's the most American picture I've ever seen. Richard Petty, Ronald Reagan, and a whole bunch of other NASCAR people eating Kentucky Fried Chicken after the conclusion of the Firecracker 400 in Daytona, Florida. You know, if they ever rigged a race in NASCAR, that would have been the race to rig. Which racetracks are featured in this movie, and which racetracks are faked in this movie? They say they're something, and they're not really.
Yeah, I looked that up. Let me find my note, and I'll just edit out the timing of this, because I was curious as to whether or not his car was actually in any racing footage where people were actually racing.
Didn't look like it.
No, it's very clear. And basically, for his cars, they took actual stock cars that you could buy. There were the prototypes for the new Thunderbird style, and they just made it look like a race car. So anytime he's doing high, speed action on the track, all the actual NASCARs are going about 55 miles an hour, and he's going about 70. And they really could have sped the film up a little bit just to help that.
It's not the worst. I don't know if it's the first. We'd have to talk about the Junior Johnson movie later on, but it is not incorporated near as well as Days of Thunder. But at the same time, I don't think it's awful either. But you also look at it and say, that could have done better. In fact, my favorite part of the movie, as a NASCAR fan, is probably the stock footage on film. Looks fantastic, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's great. I love how, getting close to the end of the movie and the final race, you have Harry Gant get stuck between the two main guys, our young Carl Edwards and Burt Reynolds. And And the
Poor
number
Harry
33,
Gant, man.
the number 33 Skull car gets spun and flips, and they go to stock footage, and it turns to the number 77.
What? Did you think that was supposed to be Gant flipping? I just thought that was what happened behind them.
The way they cut it, it really implied that he started flipping, and the car had the same color scheme. It was just a different number and sponsor. I think
Was
it was
it
Remington.
77 that went when they did the stock footage?
Yeah, it was 33 spin and then 77 flip. And then they show like 20 other cars wrecking. But,
and if you watch carefully in the rest of that race that plays out, when they switch to their own controlled footage that they shot, there's a different 77 car still in the race, which would suggest after that crash, much like Dale Earnhardt in 1997 Daytona 500, he got his car back in the field, the 77. Huh.
So they rented Charlotte, Talladega, and Atlanta. Most of it was filmed
Daytona,
at Charlotte.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, some of the tracks, the one that's supposed to be Charlotte, I don't know if Charlotte was just really down in the dumps back in 1983, but the wall looked more like you'd find something at the Nashville Fairgrounds.
That was everything, though. I'm pretty sure.
Well, it didn't even say Winston Cup anywhere, or Charlotte, and that's where I'm not sure. But again, it's 1983.
Would they have filmed this in 82, or did they film it earlier in 83?
I mean, I don't see anything on that, so I'm not sure.
Huh.
Yeah. But tons of cameos in this movie.
Oh, yeah. Even ones you would not expect at all.
Oh, yeah. So in terms of the main characters, you have Burt Reynolds playing Stroker Ace, who is a popular race car driver. It says he's all or nothing. If he doesn't win, he crashes. But he really doesn't cause any of these crashes. So I don't know if they quite nail that in terms of reputation. Ned Beatty plays Clyde Torkel, and he does great. Go ahead.
He might be the best actor in this movie. I mean, I think the people who hated this movie, didn't they at least like Ned Beatty?
I mean, I don't know how you wouldn't. I don't know why you wouldn't like Burt either. And I don't know how you hate Jim Nabors. I mean, come on, man. Lugs, Harvey.
He's just playing himself. I mean, he's playing his whole shtick. That's what they signed up for.
Absolutely. And you got Parker Stevenson as Aubrey James, a.k.a. young Carl Edwards.
Okay, that's the guy who has no business being in the movie. It's not that he's bad. It's that his part has no purpose in this film.
If you're going to have a racing movie, you have to have a rival. And he is the rival. And really, I think he's just having fun. I mean, I don't even think he's taking it that seriously.
It's bizarre because I've never seen a movie like this where the rival character is obsessed with the hero character. And the hero character, we'll say Burt Reynolds is a hero. He doesn't even know who the guy is. Like, he is not putting on an act. He cannot remember the guy's name or his number. It's bizarre. He's like, who are you? What? That's Burt Reynolds.
Yeah. And then the other main character is Lonnie Anderson, I'm not sure, who plays Pembroke Feeney. After this movie, got married to Burt Reynolds for about 5 years.
Yeah, I saw that.
Messy breakup. Messy breakup.
Isn't that the same thing that happened to Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman when they filmed Days of Thunder?
I don't recall the timeline.
I think they got married because of Days of Thunder. So these two got together. Okay, Lonnie Anderson, I never watched WKRP Cincinnati, but she was known as a regular on that. And this was probably her first feature film role that she was a headline. I don't think she's horrible. I think she plays the part exactly as they wrote it.
I agree. I think it's not written well, but she's supposed to be what's the right word? A spacey Christian girl.
Not super spacey, though. Naive, right? A little bit on the naive side.
She's got a funny voice.
Yes, yeah. It could be funnier, though. There's women with funnier voices than Lonnie Anderson.
They give her a voice, and she carries herself in such a way that she would normally be playing a ditzy person. But in this movie, she's actually a relatively competent advertising businesswoman.
Right, she's good at her job, and she takes it seriously. And then she has a change of heart because she falls in love with Stroker Ace, and she sees he's unhappy with all the promotional work that she's scheduling for him.
Yeah, and you could argue that she has made him a relatively decent person.
Well, yeah.
It's all relative, but he goes from sleeping with every girl and not remembering their names either to having the opportunity to take advantage of her and not doing so for the most part. You'd have to change that scene a little bit today.
I must add. Yeah, that it drags on like a Family Guy joke. a bad one.
It's the 80s.
I know.
And at that point, he pretty much plays a loyal character to her. So, in terms of 80s movies, he's been reformed.
Guess so. Oh, this was based on a book, wasn't it?
Yeah, which I had never heard of.
It's like a fake autobiography.
Yeah, Stand on It from 1973 by William Neely and Robert Autumn, based on actual events from racing, but they made up protagonists.
Stroke race.
Yes. And I think one of the Chicago Tribune critics said how this one found its way between hardcovers is a mystery.
I've only seen paperback.
I generally do agree. I don't know why you would write that book as a book. I can get the TV show, I can get the movie, but I don't think the people that enjoy this kind of thing read books.
It's supposed to be a satire on corporatization of sports and loss of authenticity.
I just don't know if NASCAR had the reach to pull this off in 1983. It's great for NASCAR, don't get me wrong, because a lot of people have seen the movie since. But in terms of making a successful movie, I just don't think it had the national exposure that it needed in 83.
And I guess that's why you bank on Burt Reynolds, who might have been the most famous actor in Hollywood at that time.
Yeah, they're going for Burt's fans, and they write it for his fans. And that's why I don't get some of the criticism. And then they throw in Jim Nabors and Ned Beatty or Beatty, or whatever you say it. And, you throw in Lonnie, she looks the part. And I don't know if the previews really showed a lot of the cameos, but I don't know. It's just it's a fun movie. It would do a lot better today, but probably
so
ahead of its
ironically,
time.
I think the promotional material for this movie, I did watch one of the trailers. It focuses a lot on the chicken suit bit. And that may have been what turned people off, thinking this movie was stupid and they didn't want to go see it. So you got Burt Reynolds, but he's in a chicken suit, which is ironic because that's a conflict in the film. Stroker Ace sort of makes things worse because Torkelson, whatever, he wanted him in a chicken suit for one commercial. And then Stroker Ace decided to wear it to the racetrack and even drive in it.
And ride on an egg. And
so
ride on an egg.
It was it was like a public, I don't know what you call it. He's trying to make his team owner look bad, isn't he?
I think he's trying to embarrass the owner to fire him.
But he just embarrassed himself. And so ironically then, the movie promotes itself with Burt in a chicken suit. And people decide, this is stupid. I don't want to see Burt in a chicken suit. So the chicken suit may have killed the movie somehow.
Possibly. It's funny. The character Clyde Torkel, the owner, he makes the remark, he's trying to get me mad. He's trying to get me to fire him. But when stupid rednecks do stuff like this, you just got to make them think it was a great idea and they'll never try it again. And he's basically right.
Yeah, he's not stupid. I mean, he's a sleazeball, but he is a businessman.
Yeah, he has a successful chicken business.
Apparently rivaled KFC at one point until Colonel Sanders died.
I wonder if there is a kernel of truth in that, so to speak.
Was there
a company that rivaled KFC until his death?
What about Mrs. Winters? Was that around?
I have no idea. I mean, it's an interesting sidebar to check one day that really has of no importance. I will say I think Kyle Petty and Dale Earnhardt steal the show in terms of the cameos.
No, they're good. I'm surprised how much alike they look in 1980. They're so young.
They are, and it's weird to see Earnhardt have fun. Like, he had an image to keep up later on. But yeah. And then we have to do the nod to Elvira for coming up out of nowhere. And
why
having
is she in this
fun
movie?
little conversation with Jim Nabors.
Why is she in this film?
I don't know.
So she's credited not as Elvira the character, but Cassandra Cain. I think I got that right. She's credited as woman with, what's Jim's jugs? No.
Lugs. No,
Lugs.
She has the jugs. He's Lugs.
That I was getting confused on that. I said, wait, is that some kind of innuendo? But he's Lugs. Okay, woman with Lugs. But she's just there, and that she doesn't even have a scene with Burt Reynolds. That's the funny thing.
It's almost like she just happened to be in the area that day, and they say, hey, you want to film a scene?
I can believe that. Yeah. Absolutely.
So the plot, which we've kind of talked about a little bit, is you have Stroker Ace, and he doesn't get the business side of racing, so to speak. He runs through sponsors very, very quickly.
He's a Kurt Busch kind of guy.
Yes, yeah. And he gets fired by Jim Caddy of Xenon Oil or something like that. And he has to find a new sponsor, and that's where Clyde Torkel, a.k.a. Ned, comes in, and he has a fried chicken fast food chain. And I don't even remember the name of what are they called?
Chicken Pit.
Yeah, Torkel's Chicken Pit restaurants. There you go.
Yeah, the
And
fastest chicken in the South.
yep, he gets old Stroker to sign his contract without reading it. And it's a very big contract.
Oh, it's great. I like that bit with the car, Jim Nabors and Stroker and the big old, like he has it upside down first because he's wondering where all the words are. There's nothing on the back pages.
Oh yeah, Jim Nabors is not the idiot in this movie.
Oh,
He is playing the smartest character on the screen somehow. And yeah, so there's lots of things in the contract that he wasn't expecting. So he's got to do commercials, he's got to do appearances all across the country as they open up new restaurants.
It's like that deal Chuck Mangione got in King of the Hill, where he had to be at every single Megalomart opening. So now I gotta say, when they went to that Chicken Pit fake restaurant, that grand opening, all I could think of is if I had a time capsule to an imaginary past, I'd want to go eat at that Chicken Pit restaurant. That looks fun. Up on a big old hill, a massive sidewalk. And you know what? I like the race car. Fastest chicken in the South and all. I think it's a good looking Ford. Man.
I mean, it's good enough that they've paid homage to it in some of the throwback schemes.
Yeah, man. The variant is stupid, but that was, I guess, in the movie, it was Stroke Race's idea to do a variant paint scheme, which would have been ahead of its time, I might add.
Oh, yeah.
Variant paint schemes are like every race now. There's no such thing as a main paint scheme, but yeah, they had different driver suits, which that's another continuity weird thing. When he signs a contract, Mr. Torque, he's talking about they'll have different driver suits. There'll be a red one and a black one, but they'll mostly go with the black one. And when you get to the footage they made, they have the two different camera angles. They have the camera that focuses on the driver, and then you see the green screen behind them. Then they have the in-car camera, where it's like you're sitting in the passenger seat, and you can see the driver's arms. And for whatever reason, when you see the driver, it's Burt in the black suit. Or when you see the face. But when you see the arms, it's the stunt driver in the red suit. And all I'm thinking is, why did they introduce this plot point as opposed to just having one uniform so they could fake it better in all their footage?
Yeah, I agree. The only thing I could think of is, well, they didn't think of it. But yeah.
But again, you had to put in extra work to make two suits. And why did you do that?
I don't know. It makes no sense.
You spent money to make an extra driver suit of a different color.
Yeah. Oh, and I love how all the uniforms have all the logos in different places.
The one thing that's missing is I never saw Winston Cup series on the driver suit. You see it on Jim Nabors' crew chief shirt. And I don't know that anybody ever says the word Winston Cup in the movie. There's a bunch of sponsorship. Do they say the word NASCAR?
Yeah, I think they say NASCAR, and they may say Winston Cup a few times. I mean, they're not hiding it. Yeah. They're not hiding it. Like even the fake commentary team has a NASCAR ashtray.
Yes,
Winston Cup ashtray.
Winston ashtray, right?
Yeah, Winston. Yeah. And it's on the car itself, so they're not hiding it. They don't necessarily say it out loud. I don't know why they wouldn't.
They want to give them free sponsorship, I guess.
So he got all these things in the contract that he comes to regret, and he really wants to get out of this deal because it's a 3-year deal. So he tries to come up with a plan, and the stuff he tries with Lugs doesn't work, falls flat, the egg cracks. And so he has to go back, and he has another idea. And so the movie opens up with actually a flashback scene when he was a kid. And it's really well done. Yeah. And Stroker has a friend I'm trying to figure out who his name is because I don't remember.
They call him Doc. That's all I remember.
Yeah,
I don't know the last name.
Doc Siegel.
Siegel.
And then Doc has a dad, so you have Dad Siegel.
Everybody calls him Dad.
Yeah, and Dad runs moonshine, and you assume that that's how Stroker got into auto racing, was just being inspired by the chase, so to speak, because he was in the truck a few times. He goes back to his childhood Doc and Dad and gets their help.
Well, they just happen to come up to a sponsor event, don't they?
Yeah, I think that's right. But
there's like a dunk the driver contest, and for some reason they show up at it.
Oh yeah, so they get reintroduced earlier, and we find that Doc is now trying to be an actor, and Dad makes jewelry out of crap, literal crap.
This is a real guy, by the way. This guy is not acting.
Yeah.
Did you
Yes.
look that up?
I didn't, but I believe it.
That's the reason he's in this movie. Apparently, he appeared on the Johnny Carson show because it's just such a wild idea. A guy who makes cheap jewelry, and he has a piece of bird poop in all of his jewelry. And Burt
Wow.
Reynolds thought that was the craziest thing ever. And he must have thought, I'm going to put this guy in my movie to do his whole shtick.
Okay. Well, anybody who wants to look that up, his name is Frank Hill. Frank O. Hill.
Franco Hill.
And there's a funny part in the movie where, they don't ever say where they get the crap from, but Dad calls Doc over and says, "Hey, Doc, get over here. I'm running out of shit." And, and he said, "I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing the best I could."
Well, he's talking about his making the deal with Mr. Torkel.
Yeah, that was later, but that line did come up where he calls him over to his side of the room. So he's like, "Hey, I'm running out of stuff here. Need your help." But anyway, so they get reintroduced. And then at some point, I don't know what's really brought the idea on. I think he just got it. A Stroker gets the idea to have the actor Doc pretend to be a representative from Miller Lite or Miller
Brewing Company.
Yeah,
right.
Miller Brewing Company. And he's going to go make an offer to Clyde to buy his chicken company at a 20% premium of the stock price. I have a hard time believing that chicken company was a public company, but whatever. And
yeah. Well, they do franchise, right? So it's not that Torkel runs every chicken place, because they do have franchise owners and they bring them to the races and let their wives kiss on Stroker. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. So he gets him to go out there, and he does a pretty good job. He's a complete redneck as his personal self, Doc and Dad. But he dresses up pretty well and shows his talents as an actor, and he gets Clyde to buy in. And then later on at the last race, because he gives him a deadline, and the deadline gets negotiated to be the last race of the season at 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
In October. So that was a little bit surprising.
Yeah, and I didn't go back and check to see if Charlotte actually was the last race of the season back in the day.
It was Riverside. Charlotte was in the last 4, I think.
Gotcha.
But it used to always be that way. They do the late October at Charlotte, and they did Atlanta. And
Riverside is a very odd ending to a season,
especially a road course.
Yeah.
There was some other race in there I've probably forgotten about, but by the way, that is my favorite scene in the movie, when Doc Siegel is doing his bit with Mr. Torkel. It's the best interaction in the whole movie. The tension is legitimate somehow, and it's a credit to Ned Beatty and whoever plays Doc Siegel.
So I'll give you that it's the best performed scene. I can't say it's my favorite scene. The shopping cart stuff with Kyle and Earnhardt, and also the interaction between Lugs and Jugs was
okay.
Those are priceless kind of scenes. But I do get what you're saying.
Those things are just sort of timeless in themselves. But this one is important for the movie. And really, Franco Hill, he doesn't do much with Ned Beatty, but that's a good little bit when he's in the press box with him and saying as little as possible, doing his Hogan's Heroes, I Know Nothing.
The best dramatic acting in the movies in those 2 scenes. I will give you that. I
guess it's because of Ned Beatty, because he's making those work.
But he can't walk away from that money either, and he's kind of tired of dealing with Stroker.
Yeah.
So he is torn, and he tells Stroker to throw the race. And I think he does that as like a way of kind of taking the pressure off himself. Like, if Stroker wants to make a fool of himself, I'll sell, make money, and I get to fire him publicly.
He basically says, you're going to have a bad day either way. You can either win and stay employed with me for 2 years, or if you lose, I'll sell the whole team and you're out of the deal, but out of the job.
Yeah, because the way it was is current value of the team, Clyde would have to sell Ned. But if he won the championship, it would be so much more valuable that he'd just have to roll with it, and he'd introduce barbecue, basically.
It's interesting, too. I don't know how common this was in the early 80s. He's not just a sponsor, he's the whole team owner. And somehow he already had the race car ready before he ever signed a driver. Isn't that bizarre?
Well, that was something I was going to bring up. I don't know who really owns this team.
It's got to be him.
Does Burt race for himself, and he uses the sponsorship money to fund it? Or does he gets use of the cars? Like, it's not quite right. Let's just put it that way.
Well, and that's the other thing, because who approves the branding? Because it looks like it's Torkel. You know, he has his stuff on the car. has his suit. But then Burt can make an audible, or Stroker Ace can do the pluck chicken variant if he wants to.
Who builds the cars? Like, he just bought these cars?
It does not sound like it's Lugs, because Lug just does the setup.
So anyways, that's still a predicament that Stroker's in. So he is throwing the race for most of the race, but he decides that he just can't take it anymore because little Carl Edwards has pissed him off, and he starts to make a comeback.
Was he lapping him when he gets into his bumper?
So that's the thing. That's another inconsistency. It is very obvious that Stroker is at the back of the field. He's just perpetually falling backwards, and then Edwards is basically going for the win all out the entire time. But then you get him, and he goes up to the back of him, and it's like, well, wait a second. He should be in front of him.
Pit strategy,
but he's
maybe.
Not. I don't know. Well, it doesn't. He gets past, then he would be lapped, and then he's in contention when he decides he wants to try again. So this doesn't make any sense.
And it was much harder to get your lap back in 1983 than modern day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So Stroker started making a run for it, and Clyde is getting excited. He's like, all right. Because I don't think he really wanted to throw it anyways. And then there's a big caution, and there's a snafu on the pit stop. Is that the
Harry Gant crash?
Yes, it is the Harry Gant crash.
Okay.
So apparently Stroker has unlapped himself and gone around the whole thing.
Harry Gant needs to go kick some butt after this race is over. That man never won a championship. And here he was in contention. I don't know where he had to finish, but he was caught in the middle of a stupid feud.
He was, and there's an irony too that young Carl Edwards did not win the championship here, and then he would later get so frustrated with his lack of a championship and how he felt he had been wrong that he would just quit. So
now you're really reading too much into this. What's that actor's name again? Who plays was it like Stevenson or something?
Parker Stevenson.
Okay, he had, like Lonnie Anderson, he had done mostly TV stuff. And he was hoping this movie, alongside Burt Reynolds, would jumpstart his film career. And I'm pretty sure it never did.
I would imagine that he wouldn't have been too surprised after experiencing the filming.
He was in Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew. That was his sort of stuff. And he was trying to do crossover into big budget movie comedy.
Okay. Yeah. So you have the big Harry Gant crash that takes out, looks like 2/3 of the field. And so they have to make pit stops. There's like 12 laps left.
Oh, Cale Yarborough, by the way, is also running for the championship. This is like 1992 at Atlanta almost.
Okay.
But now, Cale Yarborough does have a cameo in this movie, doesn't he? I think he has a speaking part.
He's got a cameo. I want to say it is
with the monkey.
When they introduce... Go ahead.
He's with the monkey, the Valvoline monkey.
Ah, yeah.
Or the chimp. Why is there a chimp in this movie?
I don't know.
Speed racer? That's what
there
we
is
can
no
do.
credit for the chimp, though. He does not get a screen credit.
Yeah, so Cale Yarborough just has engine problems or something. And it's kind of lame. They have to ride him out without showing him. You just get a voiceover where the announcers say the hood is up on Yarborough's car. Looks like he's out of contention, too. And I guess he'd already won his 3 straight by this point. Did he win any in the 80s? This movie sort of takes place when Darrell Waltrip would have been winning his titles, and Bobby Allison. I think Allison won the 1983 Winston Cup in real life.
I'm ashamed that I don't remember some of these facts. I do consider myself an NASCAR historian, but I haven't looked at this stuff in like 20 years. Like, there was a 10-year period where I could have quoted probably the last 30 champions.
I like the Moog posters. I don't know if you ever seen the Moog posters. If you go to a mechanic shop, they used to list all the NASCAR champions. That was fun. I like looking at those, all the cars.
So he comes out of the pit 6 with the 12 laps to go, and Betty decides that there's no chance. So he goes ahead and fires him publicly to the press. At the same time, he's charging through the field, and he's up to second when he does the public firing. And he immediately feels like
he doesn't realize it somehow.
Yeah. He just assumed that with 12 laps, you can't pass 5 cars, which seems kind of insane because that's plenty of time at Charlotte, especially if you're the fastest car. 12.
Usually on a restart, you'd have to do... But they were off a restart, weren't they?
Yeah. You wouldn't assume that you're going to lose at least. Like if you've been the fastest car.
He's blinded by greed. 4 o'clock.
And hatred.
Yeah.
And he ends up winning the race, though, and getting wrecked as he does, and slides upside down. And then they go to Victory Lane. He celebrates with his friends, and kind of a flat ending to some degree, but Clyde takes his lumps and moves on.
You know what I was disappointed in? There was no Winston Cup. They had a very generic, I guess it was the race trophy, not the Cup champion.
But yeah, but it kind of ends flat. Stroker gets the girl, gets the win, gets the trophy. He's standing in front of the car he's been fired from. Do you get driver points if you're fired mid race?
Well, you started the race. You started it. You would get whatever points, even if the driver didn't finish the race, he would get all the points because
you're right.
he started it.
Yeah. Okay. So even if he's not employed mid race, he can still.
Yeah, if they had put a release driver in, he would have still gotten the points for the finish.
Yeah.
That would have been the biggest moment in NASCAR history if it had happened in real life, especially with the firing at the end.
Oh, yeah. I need to step away just for a second to get some Kleenex. All right, I'm back. It's the season of pollen.
That would be a good horror movie title. Pollen.
That would be funny. So, I don't really have much else to say. I asked Grok to give me a list of the best quotes in the movie, and it really came up short because I just watched it and I didn't write anything down. So there's lots of funny lines in this movie that everyone that has any sense of humor will enjoy, but I don't have them with me to tell you.
Well, I think it's underrated, but because of the way this movie plays out, it becomes more significant. It's when Stroker Ace is filming his chicken suit commercial, and the director says they want another take or something, and he says he's not doing it, and somebody tells him he has to, and Stroker says, "You bleep this if you want, but I don't give a shit." Now that, on the one hand, that's very much a Burt Reynolds thing, but the way this movie plays out with the reintroduction of Franco Hill and Daddy Seagull, well, he did give one, and look what happened there. So,
You're right. Oh, and they also, in this movie, they like to work in basically cluck it. And who gives a cluck?
I didn't catch that joke. When did they do that kind of humor?
Once the chicken suit got introduced. Well, they teach people how to cluck in the bar, too.
Oh, yeah. Teaching them how to cluck. So that felt very John Wayne-y to me. Like this was a throwback to a different era movie where you just have the random bar fights. Burt Reynolds did a lot of Westerns back in the day before he became a big name star.
Yeah, back when he was a Native American.
We still haven't seen Deliverance. You haven't seen Deliverance.
No.
Man, oh, man.
So I really like the theme song that Charlie Daniels did at the beginning, but I still don't think it really fits the actual character. Stroker Ace was born to race. He had a mean streak 10 feet wide, a son of a gun with a taste for fun and more than a share of pride. Take a dirt road curve with the devil's nerve and make a car dance across the mud. Holland shine was his regular line till the track got in his blood. It was a real hot shot and he bragged a lot, but man, that fool could drive because he loved to feel the steering wheel and the girls with the bedroom eyes. And in a race of time or a barroom fight, all Stroker stole the show. But when the green flag flies and the engines cry, there's just one place he wants to go. I don't think he had a mean streak.
He does get in fights, but it would be because he's provoked by somebody else. So he's not the most personable guy when it comes to dealing with the fans. I think if he was a real life driver, people would write mean things on the internet about, he didn't give me an autograph when I saw him at the bar because, he wants to hook up with a lady probably, and some joker wants an autograph. That's how people would probably critique him today.
He hooks up with a lot of the ladies, so you can't say he doesn't care about some of the fans. But he's also very keen to make sure on film for interviews that he's very professional.
And then the Ken Squire apparently hates that.
Yeah.
Because he won't ever divulge the behind-the-scenes drama. So it's weird because as critical as people are about him for image, he's sort of an image before everything kind of guy as a driver. I think a weird thing about the Stroker Ace character is that he's more interested in looking good first and then succeeding on the racetrack. Like I don't know
if that's quite true though.
Well, okay. He's the only thing he's really good at is the green flag to the checkered flag. So like everything else, he shows up to the Daytona 500 during driver interviews or during driver introductions. I assume he'd go to the back of the longest line if he missed the driver's meeting.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really know he's at Daytona. That's the other thing. Like he has to ask after the race, what city are we in? Like, it was the Daytona 500, wasn't it? So I feel like it's just not a big deal to him.
He's a moron.
What he's accomplished on the year.
I feel like off the track, he's Ricky Spinhouse. And then When he's on the track, though, he's not really Dale Earnhardt because he's not that aggressive. He's more like a Jeff
No.
Gordon.
Yeah, maybe. He is the finesse driver. Yeah, he doesn't knock anybody out of the way, does he?
No, even though they say he's checkers or wreckers. It's not really the chase. He gets wrecked sometimes. I don't know. His character is a little janky. Like, it don't quite fit together. But it's fine if you don't think about it too hard.
Yeah. It's a movie that's kind of hard to pin down. I like it, though. It's first time probably I watched it all the way through. I'd seen it on cable, parts of it years ago. Like when it was the Nashville Network, maybe CMT. This is the kind of movie they'd throw on. I always assumed Bill Elliott was in this movie, but I think I got him mixed up with Ricky Rudd, because I'm not sure if Ricky Rudd has a speaking part. You got that younger Ricky Rudd has that curly hair.
Gotcha. Now, me and my friend, we tracked this movie down in the late 90s, and I don't remember how we tracked it down because it wouldn't have been an easy one to find.
Okay.
But yeah, it's so this was fun to go back and watch again. How are we going to rate this thing?
Well, if we have a 5-system scale, we could always go lug nuts or lugs, but I don't know.
We need to be careful in pronunciation, but we can see how many clucks do we give.
Yeah, let's give it that.
Okay. So my gut says once we watch the other stuff, I'm not going to be like this one holds up quite as well to like the original Cannonball Run and Smokey and the Bandit. So I'm going to be conservative here, even though my gut says go higher, and I'm going to give it 3 clucks. And
yeah,
it's a fun movie. The plot is stupid, but it's not like offensive. There's definitely plot holes. It's got some good actors, though. None of the parts are really written poorly. Even the girl, like, she's playing the role that she needs to play.
Yeah. I don't see how you can criticize the cast other than the fact you just don't care for their brand of humor.
Yeah, I think if you don't appreciate any aspect of NASCAR, you're not going to enjoy this movie. But if you appreciate old school NASCAR at all, you're going to love the cameos. The plot's going to be fine. The filming could have been done better in terms of the racing itself. But this movie's not really about the racing. So, 3 clucks.
Yeah. I'll definitely start with 3 clucks. I think as a movie, as infamous as this is, it probably ended an era of Burt Reynolds' career. It probably motivated him to do other kind of parts. I think it is fair to say he's probably a bit of a stereotype caricature of himself by this point, but I still find that very entertaining. And, for as much as people might hate it, I think it's just a fun little movie that's an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, something like that. They spend a lot of time on the last race. I'm not sure how long it takes. It might be 20 minutes, the last race of the season, but it moves along at a pretty good pace, and it has a decent variety in how the movie goes about it. You never really feel like they're spending too long on any one scene, with the exception of the weird bedroom scene, where Pembroke Feeney's drinking the fake wine, or the real wine that she's been told is imitation, non-alcoholic. But she doesn't really believe it, but she goes along with it anyway because she does like Stroker, but she's also very intoxicated and she passes out. That's the scene that goes on for a little bit too long. With the exception of that, boy, as much as I can pinpoint the weird editing and how they worked in stock footage and original footage, man, I'm just really glad they got all this early 80s NASCAR stuff on film. And it still looks great. And I love seeing all the old car designs and seeing these famous drivers when they were not quite so famous. Dale Earnhardt Sr. was a champion already, but he wasn't the Dale Earnhardt. He wasn't what he would become. He's really just another great driver in those days, and it's fun to see him in there. I love that Harry Gant gets a featured role more than anybody else because he for some reason retired right before I started watching, and I think I would have enjoyed having him in the mix.
For some reason, because he was old.
He was old, but he wasn't washed. I think he might have gone a year without winning, right?
Something like that.
He had just gone a year where he'd won like 4 races in a row. I think it was all he won, 4 races in a row. And then he might have, I don't know if the skull was moving on to new, whatever, but it's not, I don't know why there's a chimpanzee in the movie. I don't know why Elvira's in the movie. I think it's hilarious.
In the defense of the monkey, you could buy mail order monkeys back then.
It was a lot looser. We got to do Speed Racer at some point with this this series. Man, I don't know. Am I justifying giving this movie 4 clucks, or am I just ridiculous?
I'm not offended if you give it 4 clucks.
The fourth cluck is a little bit muted, but I'll give it 3 loud clucks and 1 muted cluck. So that's still 4 clucks. You just have to pay attention if you're listening for them.
Hey, I think it's fair. And the people that hated this movie, they were never going to like the movie, no matter what
No.
it was. So
There's nothing that could have satisfied Siskel and Ebert.
this is not high culture. This is low culture.
Yeah. I guess if you were to criticize this movie relative to Smokey and the Bandit, in Smokey and the Bandit, there is a definite sense of progression through the movie. They gotta get that Coors Light down to Texarkana, and they're always pushing towards that end. And when they do that, they go on to the next adventure. This movie feels like, relative to that, it's going in circles. Dum-dum.
Well, and it really is the OG Talladega Nights. You can say, did it help or hurt NASCAR? And it's debatable, but it's not trying to take itself seriously at all whatsoever. So, it's a shame that Stroker Race's retirement race wasn't in Days of Thunder.
That would have been hilarious, wouldn't it? If Burt Reynolds had a cameo.
Just a little Easter egg. He doesn't even have to say anything. Just have the PA announcer announce it while he's walking across the stage and waving.
Boy, that would have been a fun Easter egg, just to give the PA announcer, and racing his final race, the great 6-time champion Stroker Ace. Or he probably would have been 7-time champion by that point.
Yeah. Well, that's been Stroker Ace from 1983. And we definitely recommend the movie. You can buy it for $5 on Vudu/Fandango, whatever you want to call it. And
the DVD is really cheap too, if you're looking for it.
I'm looking at it right in front of me. Didn't have to open it. Didn't get here in time.
No special features. That's too bad, but man, I would have loved a making of Stroker Ace, like all the home movie footage with Benny Parsons and people like that.
Oh,
that'd been hilarious.
If you watch the credits, you do get some outtakes. So.
Oh yeah.
So.
Not much with the NASCAR people, but
yeah. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody. Always have 5 lug nuts.
Bye-bye.